The sweat dripped down my forehead as I pushed through the last set of bench presses. The clang of weights echoing through the bustling Manhattan gym like a heartbeat racing out of control. I never saw it coming. That one playful wink across the free weights area would unravel my life into a twisted knot of obsession and unexpected desire. But there he was, Ethan, his eyes locked on me like I was the only man in the room, whispering my name under his breath as if it were a sacred vow, turning my casual flirtation into a nightmare that felt strangely like fate. I remember the day it started like it was etched into my skin. It was a crisp autumn morning in New York City, the kind where the air bites just enough to make you feel alive. I dragged myself to Apex Fitness, my go-to spot in Chelsea. After a brutal night shift at the graphic design firm, where I slaved away on ad campaigns for brands that didn't care if I existed. At 25, I was single, fit, and unapologetically gay, navigating the city's vibrant LGBT scene with a mix of excitement and caution. Flirting was my harmless escape, a quick smile, a lingering glance to shake off the loneliness that crept in during quiet moments. Ethan appeared out of nowhere that day. He was lifting dumbbells a few stations away, his olive skin glistening under the fluorescent lights, wavy black hair tousled just right. Mid-20s like me, but with a mixed-race allure that screamed confidence, part Italian, part something exotic, I later learned. His brown eyes caught mine as I adjusted my form in the mirror, and I couldn't resist. I flashed a grin, the kind that's half joke, half invitation. "Need a spot," I called out, my voice light, teasing. He smirked back, setting down the weights with a thud. "Only if you're offering more than that," he replied, his accent faint but intriguing, like he'd grown up on the West Coast before migrating east. We bantered for a bit, nothing deep, just gym talk about reps and routines. His name was Ethan Ramirez, a personal trainer who'd just moved from Los Angeles to chase dreams in the Big Apple. I told him mine, Anthony Hale, and laughed about how the city chewed up romantics like us. It was fun, electric even, but I kept it surface level. I've been burned before by hookups that fizzled, and with my packed schedule, I wasn't looking for complications. As I headed to the showers, I threw one last wink over my shoulder. "See you around." Hot stuff. Little did I know, that was the spark that ignited the fire. The next few days blurred into routine. Work, gym, rinse, repeat. But then I noticed him again. Ethan, lingering by the treadmills when I arrived, his gaze following me like a shadow. At first, I brushed it off, coincidence in a crowded gym. But by the third day, it escalated. I'd catch him murmuring something as I passed. And once, I swore I heard Anthony slip from his lips, soft and reverent, like a prayer in a cathedral. My heart skipped. Was he flirting back, or was this something darker? I tried ignoring it, focusing on my workouts. But the whispers grew bolder. One evening, as I cooled down on the mats, he approached, towel slung over his broad shoulders. "Anthony, right? You killed those deadlifts today." His smile was genuine, disarming, but there was an intensity in his eyes that made my skin prickle. We chatted more about LA's beaches versus New York's chaos, our shared love for indie bands. He mentioned being out since high school, navigating family rejection with quiet strength. It tugged at me. I share my own story of coming out in college, the freedom and fear intertwined. Yet, As the conversation flowed, unease crept in. How did he know my schedule so precisely? I'd vary my times that week. Yet there he was. That night, lying in my cramped Brooklyn apartment. I replayed it all. Flirting for fun had always been my game. No strings. No drama. But Ethan's presence felt like a pull I couldn't shake. Was I imagining the obsession? Or was this the start of something that could shatter my carefully built walls? The following week, the stalking, because that's what it was becoming, intensified. I'd spot him outside the gym, leaning against a lamppost, eyes scanning the crowd until they landed on me. Once, as I exited, he fell into step beside me. "Fancy running into you," he said with a chuckle, but his voice held a note of possession that chilled me. We grabbed coffee at a nearby diner, and he opened up more, dreams of opening his own fitness studio, the loneliness of starting over in a new city. His vulnerability mirrored mine, drawing me in despite the red flags. But then came the whispers. In the gym, during quiet moments, I'd hear Anthony echoed softly, like an incantation. It sent shivers down my spine, a mix of fear and forbidden thrill. One day, I confronted him lightly. "You seem to be everywhere I am." "Coincidence." He laughed it off, but his eyes darkened. "Maybe I'm just drawn to you." Like gravity, his words lingered, heavy with implication. As the days turned into a haze of tension, I confided in my best friend, Marcus, over beers at a gay bar in Hell's Kitchen. "Dude, this guy's got stalker vibes," Marcus warned, his face serious. "Block him if you have his number." But I didn't. We'd never exchanged contacts. Yet, Ethan knew things, my favorite protein shake, the playlist I blasted during cardio. How? The climax of that first phase hit during a late-night session. The gym was nearly empty, just a hum of machines and my ragged breaths. Suddenly, arms wrapped around me from behind, not aggressive, but intimate, like a lover's embrace. Anthony whispered, his breath hot against my ear. I spun around, heart pounding. What the hell? But his eyes weren't menacing. They were pleading, filled with a raw emotion that mirrored my own hidden longings. In that moment, the line between fear and desire blurred, pulling me into a vortex I wasn't sure I could escape. The embrace lingered in my mind like a ghost, haunting my every thought as I navigated the bustling streets of New York. Ethan's touch had been electric, a spark that ignited questions I wasn't ready to face. Was this obsession, or the kind of passion I'd always craved but never found? I decided to test the waters, showing up at the gym at odd hours. But he was always there, his presence a constant shadow that both terrified and tantalized me. One rainy afternoon, I cornered him in the locker room. Steam from the showers hung in the air, thickening the tension between us. "Ethan, we need to talk," I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my chest. He leaned against the lockers, his white muscle tee clinging to his damp skin, accentuating every curve of his toned body. "About what?" "The way you look at me like I'm the answer to your prayers." His words were bold, laced with a vulnerability that disarmed me. We sat on a bench, towels draped around our necks, and he poured out his story. Back in LA, he'd been in a toxic relationship with a controlling ex who isolated him from friends and family. Coming out had been a battle. His conservative parents disowned him at 18, leaving him to fend for himself. "I saw you that first day," he admitted, eyes downcast. "You were confident, Free. It reminded me of what I lost. And then you flirted. It felt like a sign, his whisper of my name, a habit from childhood prayers, a way to hold on to hope. But in my case, it had morphed into something deeper, an unintended fixation born from loneliness. My heart ached for him. I'd faced my own rejections, a college boyfriend who cheated, leaving me wary of commitment. Sharing that with Ethan felt like shedding armor. We laughed about our shared scars, the way the LGBT community in America offered solace amid prejudice. But as we talked, his intensity resurfaced. I can't stop thinking about you. Anthony. It's like you're in my blood. The words thrilled me. But Marcus's warning echoed. Boundaries mattered. Determined to set them, I suggested we hang out outside the gym, properly, like dates. Our first was at a cozy Italian spot in Greenwich Village. Ethan arrived in a fitted button-down, his smile lighting up the dim room. We talked for hours about dreams, mine to launch my own design agency, his to empower queer youth through fitness. The chemistry was undeniable, his hand brushing mine, sending sparks. But midway, he whispered my name again, eyes fervent. Anthony, you're everything. It was romantic, yet the undercurrent of possession made me pull back slightly. As weeks passed, the stalking evolved into something mutual. I'd find myself scanning for him at the gym, heart racing when our eyes met. One evening, after a grueling workout, we shared a kiss in the alley behind Apex, passionate, urgent, tasting of sweat and promise. His lips were soft, demanding, pulling me into a world where fear dissolved into desire. But that night, alone in bed, doubt crept in. Was this healthy, or was I romanticizing red flags? The drama escalated when I discovered notes in my locker, poetic scribbles quoting love songs, signed with a heart. My Anthony, forever, charming at first, but then one mentioned my apartment building. How did he know? Panic set in. I confronted him the next day, voice shaking. This has to stop. You're scaring me. Tears welled in his eyes. I didn't mean to. I love you already. The confession hung heavy, a bombshell in our fragile connection. Reeling, I took a break from the gym, hitting a different spot in Brooklyn. But Ethan found me there too, waiting outside. Please, Anthony, he pleaded, rain soaking us both. Give me a chance to prove it's real. His desperation mirrored the isolation many in our community faced, the search for acceptance in a world that often rejected us. I agreed to one more date, hoping clarity would come. That night, at a rooftop bar overlooking the skyline, we bared our souls. Ethan spoke of therapy he'd started after his ex, working on boundaries. I'm not perfect, but you make me want to be better. His honesty pierced me. As fireworks from a distant festival lit the sky, we kissed again, this time with tenderness. The whispers became endearments, not obsessions. Yet, deep down, I wondered if this whirlwind could last, or if the kinks in our star would unravel us. The city pulsed below, a reminder that love in America, especially for us, was a battlefield worth fighting for. With each passing day, our relationship deepened, but the shadows of Ethan's initial obsession lingered like fog over the Hudson. I threw myself into work, designing campaigns for LGBT rights organizations, finding purpose in advocacy that echoed our personal struggles. Ethan respected my space more, texting instead of showing up unannounced. But the whispers persisted in intimate moments. Anthony, he'd murmur during embraces, a ritual that now felt endearing rather than eerie. One weekend, we escaped the city for a road trip to the Catskills, craving nature's solace. The drive was filled with laughter, playlists of queer icons like Troye Sivan blasting from the speakers. At a secluded cabin, we hiked trails hand in hand, the autumn leaves crunching underfoot. "This is what I dreamed of," Ethan confessed by a campfire, his face illuminated by flickering flames. "Someone who sees me, flaws and all." I leaned in, kissing him deeply, our bodies entwining under the stars. It was pure romance, a testament to how far we'd come from that gym flirtation. But tension brewed beneath the surface. Back in the city, rumors swirled at apex, whispers ironic. I know about Ethan's past in LA, a restraining order from his ex. Marcus dug it up online, confronted me over coffee. "Anthony, this guy's got history. Protect yourself." Doubt seeded, sprouting during a heated argument when Ethan showed up at my office uninvited, just to surprise me with lunch. "You can't do this," I snapped. "It's too much." His face crumpled. "I'm trying, but loving you consumes me." The Gaykin peaked at a pride event in Washington Square Park. Amid rainbow flags and cheers, Ethan pulled me aside. "I need to tell you everything." He revealed the full story. His ex had been abusive, gaslighting him into isolation. The stalking tendencies? A learned behavior he was unlearning through counseling. "I stalked you because I was afraid of losing another chance at happiness." Tears streamed down his face, vulnerability raw. In that crowd of resilient queer souls, I saw our shared humanity, the scars from societal rejection that made us cling too tight. Moved, I forgave him, but set firm boundaries. "We build this slowly, or not at all." He nodded, determination in his eyes. Our romance reignited with caution, dates planned in advance, therapy sessions together. One night, in my apartment, we made love for the first time, slow, passionate, whispers turning into moans of ecstasy. "Anthony, my love," he breathed, and for once, it felt like a blessing, not a curse. Yet, external forces tested us. My family, semi-accepting Midwesterners, visited and sensed the intensity. "He seems possessive," my sister whispered. Word piled on. A major campaign for marriage equality demanding late nights. Ethan supported me, but jealousy flickered when I mentioned colleagues. "Who's that guy from the office?" he'd ask, voice edged. I reassured him, but the strain built. The turning point came during a storm-lashed evening. Ethan arrived at my door, drenched, eyes wild. "I saw you with someone at the gym. It was just a friend." But his paranoia exploded into accusations. "You're slipping away." We argued fiercely, words cutting deep. "This is why I flirted for fun, no drama," I yelled. He stormed out, leaving silence heavier than the rain. Alone, I reflected on our journey. Love wasn't just passion, it was trust, earned through trials. The next day, I found him at Apex, lifting weights with mechanical focus. "Ethan," I said softly. He turned, hope flickering. We talked for hours, committing to growth. As we walked hand in hand through Central Park, The city's chaos faded, replaced by a quiet promise. Our story wasn't perfect, but in America's tapestry of diverse loves, it held meaning, a reminder that redemption came from understanding, not perfection. As winter blanketed New York in snow, our relationship thawed into something resilient, forged in the fires of conflict. Ethan's whispers evolved into affirmations, whispered during quiet mornings in bed. "Anthony, you're my anchor." We attended couples therapy, unpacking the baggage that had led to his stalking. It was eye-opening, learning how trauma from family rejection and past abuse had wired him for intensity. I share my fears too, the walls I'd built after heartbreaks, admitting that his pursuit had cracked them open. Socially, we integrated into the city's LGBT circles. We volunteered at a queer youth center in Harlem, mentoring kids, navigating coming out in a still hostile world. Ethan shone there, his story inspiring resilience. "Love isn't possession," he'd tell them, glancing at me with a smile. One teen, a 17-year-old named Jordan, confided in us about bullying. "How do you find someone who gets it?" Jordan asked. Ethan replied, "By being vulnerable, but setting boundaries." It was a lesson we lived daily. Romance bloomed in unexpected ways. For my birthday, Ethan planned a surprise picnic in Prospect Park, complete with my favorite foods and a playlist of our songs. Under a canopy of lights, he got down on one knee, not proposing, but offering a promise ring. "Anthony, I vow to earn your trust every day." Tears blurred my vision as I accepted, our kiss sealing a pact of mutual growth. The moment was pure, untainted by past shadows. But drama lurked. Ethan's ex, Alex, resurfaced via social media, messaging me warnings. "He's obsessive, run." Panic surged. I showed Ethan, expecting denial, but he faced it head-on. Alex was toxic too. We brought out the worst in each other, together. We blocked him, turning the threat into a bonding experience. "We're stronger now," Ethan said, holding me close. Professionally, things soared. My design firm landed a national LGBT campaign, featuring stories like ours, flawed but triumphant. Ethan quit Apex to start his studio, focusing on inclusive fitness for queer folks. We celebrated with a trip to Fire Island, the gay haven where waves crashed like our emotions. There, amid sun-kissed beaches, we explored each other fully, bodies and souls intertwining in ecstatic harmony. Yet, a crisis hit when my job demanded relocation to Chicago for a promotion. "It's temporary," I assured Ethan, but his eyes betrayed fear. "Don't leave me whispering your name to empty rooms." The old obsession flickered, but he caught himself. "No, we'll make it work." Long distance, visits, whatever it takes. His maturity moved me, showing how far he'd come. The farewell was bittersweet. At JFK Airport, we clung together, whispers now of love and future plans. "Anthony, come back to me," he said, voice thick with emotion. On the plane, I reflected on our saga, from flirt to fear to forever. In America's vast landscape, our love story highlighted perseverance, a beacon for those grappling with identity and connection. Months in Chicago flew by, video calls bridging the gap. Ethan visited often, our reunions explosive with passion. One night, during a blizzard, he confessed over the phone, I still whisper your name. But now it's gratitude, not desperation. It warmed me, reinforcing the human value in forgiveness. Upon returning to New York, I found Ethan thriving, his studio buzzing with clients. We moved in together, a cozy loft in Williamsburg symbolizing our union. Challenges arose, arguments over chores, jealousy flares, but we navigated with empathy, tools from therapy guiding us. Our bond inspired friends. At Marcus's wedding, we danced under twinkling lights, Ethan's hand in mine a testament to redemption. You two give me hope, Marcus toasted. As the city skyline glittered, I realized our story's meaning. Love transcended flaws, blooming in understanding's soil. Spring brought renewal to New York, mirroring the blossoming of our life together. Ethan and I hosted brunches in our loft, surrounded by a diverse circle of friends, drag queens, activists, artists, all celebrating the spectrum of LGBT love. His whispers became our private language. Anthony, my heart, he'd say during stolen moments, evoking butterflies anew. But Kitch Tin returned when a health scare hit. Ethan collapsed during a training session, diagnosed with a minor heart arrhythmia, stress-induced. The doctor said. In the hospital, holding his hand, I faced mortality's stark reality. I can't lose you, I whispered. Roles reversed. He smiled weakly. You won't. This is our wake-up call to live fully. Recovery bonded us deeper. Ethan prioritizing balance. Me supporting with home-cooked meals and gentle encouragement. Amid this, we advocated more fiercely. We joined a march for trans rights in D.C., chanting amid crowds, our voices uniting with thousands. Ethan shared our story on a panel. From obsession to partnership, it's possible with work. Applause thundered, affirming the human value in our journey, showing that flawed beginnings could lead to profound connections. Romantically, we explored new depths. A weekend in Provincetown, the queer utopia, reignited sparks. Beach walks, sunset dinners, nights of unbridled passion, Ethan's body against mine, whispers turning to gasps. Anthony, forever, he breathed, our love a symphony of emotion. Tension arose with family. My parents visited, tentative but trying. Ethan charmed them with stories of his heritage, Mexican-Italian roots blending cultures. But when they questioned our rushed cohabitation, old wounds surfaced. Love isn't a timeline, I defended. Ethan squeezed my hand, his calm diffusing the air. Later, alone, he admitted vulnerability. I fear they'll see the old me. I reassured him. They see the man I love. Professionally, synergies emerged. I designed branding for Ethan's studio. Our collaboration seamless. Launch night was electric, queer icons toasting our success. But envy from a rival trainer sparked sabotage. Anonymous reviews accusing Ethan of creepy behavior. Devastated, he withdrew. Is this karma for how we started? I rallied friends, countering with truth. The crisis passed, strengthening our resolve. A pivotal moment came during therapy. Your whispers were a cry for help, the counselor noted. Ethan nodded, and Anthony answered. It highlighted forgiveness's power, a lesson for our community facing discrimination. As summer heated up, we planned a vow renewal, not marriage yet, but a commitment ceremony in Central Park. Friends gathered, rainbow decorations fluttering. Exchanging rings. Ethan vowed, from flirt to forever. I'll cherish you. My voice cracked. You've taught me love's depth. The kiss sealed it. Applause echoing like destiny. Post-ceremony. Challenges persisted, work stress. Minor jealousies, but we tackle them head-on. Ethan's growth inspired me. My stability grounded him. In quiet nights, we'd reflect on America's progress, same-sex marriage legal, yet battles ongoing. Our story contributed, a narrative of hope. One evening, watching the sunset from our balcony, Ethan whispered, "Anthony, thank you for seeing me." I pulled him close, our hearts sinking. The journey from gym flirt to soulmates underscored life's twists, teaching that true love emerged from empathy, turning whispers of obsession into echoes of eternal bond. With fall's return, our life settled into a rhythm of contentment, the city's energy fueling our dreams. Ethan's studio thrived, becoming a safe space for queer fitness enthusiasts. I advanced at work, leading campaigns that amplified LGBT voices nationwide. Together, we mentored at the youth center, Jordan now thriving under our guidance. "You guys are goals," he'd say, reminding us of our impact. Romance remained vibrant. Spontaneous dates, museum visits, Broadway shows kept the spark alive. Ethan's whispers evolved into poetry. Scrawled notes left for me. Anthony, my muse. Our intimacy deepened, bodies knowing each other like maps to treasure. But the final test came unexpectedly. Alex, the ex, appeared in New York, confronting Ethan at the studio. "You haven't changed," Alex sneered. I arrived mid-argument, heart racing. "Leave us alone," I demanded. Ethan stood firm. "I've grown. This is my life now." Alex left, defeated, but the encounter unearthed old fears. That night, we talked till dawn. "I whispered your name like a prayer because you saved me," Ethan confessed. For myself, tears flowed as we embraced, forgiveness sealing wounds. It was a cathartic release, affirming that love conquered past demons. In the aftermath, we decided to marry. The proposal was simple. On the Brooklyn Bridge at dawn, Ethan knelt. "Anthony Hale, will you make me the luckiest man?" Yes escaped my lips. Joy overwhelming. Planning the wedding was a whirlwind. Venue in the Hamptons. Guest list of loved ones. My family attended, fully embracing us. "We're proud," Dad said, hugging Ethan. The ceremony was magical, under a canopy of lights. Vows exchanged amid tears and cheers. "From a flirt in the gym to this," I said. Ethan replied, "Your name was my prayer. Now it's my reality." The kiss ignited fireworks, symbolizing triumph. Honeymoon in Hawaii brought bliss, beaches, adventures, nights of passion. Back home, we adopted a dog, symbolizing our family. Challenges arose, societal pushback, personal doubts, but our foundation held. Years later, reflecting on our story, it held profound meaning. In a nation grappling with equality, we embodied resilience, turning obsession into devotion, fear into trust. Ethan's whispers now lullabies to our future. Our journey taught that love, especially in the LGBT world, was a revolution fought with hearts open, proving that even flawed starts could yield beautiful endings. As we aged gracefully, mentoring the next generation. Our legacy endured. Remember, we'd tell them. Love whispers your name, not in possession, but in partnership and in quiet moments. Ethan still murmured, "Anthony," a prayer answered, echoing eternity's promise.